We are on Chapter 6. A lot of what's covered in Chapter 6 has to do with controlling color for output. We have the different color models, and if you remember color theory from graphic design, there are different methods for handling print than there is for what you see on screen. We are working with a change between cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, and red, green, blue. The colors are handled slightly different. Also, there will be color shifts when you change colors from print to on-screen or from on-screen to print. We try to minimize the shift as much as possible. And this chapter deals with prepping a file not only for print, but to go out as EPUB, and to go out as a web page, and to go out as an interactive PDF. So we have both print and online versions that we're working towards. Before you do anything else, you may want to go to Adobe and download Adobe Digital Editions. Google Adobe Digital Editions, or you can get a link to it from the Against the Clock books, because that's what their books are published through. In order for you to view your EPUB, you're going to have either Adobe Digital installed. You may be able to get Nook to work. You may be able to get Amazon Fire to work. You have to have something installed so that you have an e-reader on your computer. The ones at the college have the Adobe Digital Editions installed on it, so you will be building for Adobe Digital Editions. And since I have that on my computer and I'd like to see your finished files, I'd really appreciate it if y'all would save out for Adobe Digital Editions when you publish. Make sure that you read the section on controlling color for output starting on page 367 in your book. It talks about understanding the differences between the ranges of color available for print and on screen, and there is a section about color management theory and practice on page 369. We're starting on page 370, and if you first go in to your program, don't open up a file, you're going to set up your color settings. So go to Edit, Color Settings, and you're going to change some of the settings that are in there. By the time you get done, I believe it comes up as a custom setting. But we're going to pick the North America Pre-Press 2. We're going to set up our working spaces next, and you should have Adobe RGB 1998 selected, which defines our working RGB space. And in our CMYK settings, you want to choose US Sheet Fed Coded V2. For your color management policies, make sure Preserve Embedded Profiles is selected for RGB, and in CMYK, you would like Preserve Numbers, Ignore Linked Profiles. Make sure that the 3 boxes that are asked when opening are checked. And under Conversion Options, you probably should check Use Black Point Compensation, and then OK to apply your change to your settings. You should have already downloaded and expanded the CA Council zip files. So open the CAC brochure. Even though the book tells you to update the links after you've opened the file up, you can go ahead and update the modified links at this point. You will get a policy mismatch, and when you do so, select to adjust the document to match the current color settings. In the second one, again, choose to adjust to match the current color settings. We just went through setting those. We want to take a look at the way the document is set up for the color separations. So we'll go up to Window, Output, and select Separations Preview. In the dialog box, you can turn on separations and then deselect the CMYK, and you'll be able to start looking at single layers. We have our Pantone spot color. Pulling this out so we can see absolutely everything. We can go through and turn off different colors and look at only the ones that we want to see. This is the way that the plates are printed. So a cyan plate would look like this. Here's the magenta, the yellow, black, and you can see that the tones are applied, and you can look at different combinations to see how those work. For this particular printing, the client has requested that the Pantone 8863 is used. So let's take a look at where that exactly is placed. Around the frame and used in the logo and for some text. We have another Pantone color that the client has not authorized, and that is in the logo and in some of the text as well. If we look at the CMYK of all of this, we can view what the separations look like without the spot color that we want to keep. We're going to make adjustments to how the colors are treated to get rid of the spot color that we don't want to use. We're also going to be editing the story, and we need to track the changes that we make. So pick up your type tool and put an insertion point somewhere in the story, and then go to Type, Track Changes, and enable tracking in all stories. Next, we're going to go into the Preferences panel and select Track Changes. In there, we're going to make sure the added text, deleted text, and moved text options are checked. In the added text marking menu, we want to make sure that we have that set as underline. For deleted text, make sure red is selected for the background color, and then you can select OK to return to the document. You should already be on page 1, and make sure that your insertion point is at the beginning of the story on that page. Then we'll go to Edit, Find Change, and in the dialog box, in the Text tab, you're going to put an insertion point in the Find What box and type in City, Parks, and Recreation Guild. Make sure that you also type in the capitalization as given. Because sometimes it may skip the text if it's not typed as expected. In the Change To field, type in Community Arts Council. In the search panel, we're looking through the entire document. Direction is forward in the document, and click Find Next. That's going to highlight the first instance. Select the Change Find, which will take you to the next instance after changing the one that we did. Now go ahead and select Change All. The dialog box is going to tell you that there's 5 more replacements that have been made. Select OK. Delete the items that you put in for the Find What and for the Change To. We're going to make some more edits. Under Find What, select the Special Characters for Search option and go to Wildcards and select any character. This puts in a wildcard abbreviation, which means that you're going to look for any kind of letter. If your dialog box says more options, click it. If it says fewer options, you're fine. We're going to be looking for specific attributes. So in Find Format, click to search for character color, and you're going to select the Pantone 8001C color and say OK to return to the dialog box. We're going to again click the Specify Attributes to change, this time in the Change Format, and in Character Color we're going to select the black and change it to a 35%, so you'll have to type that in for the tint and say OK. Make sure Document is selected in the search and select Change All. There should be one replacement made. Go back in to the Change Find and delete everything that you had in there. It's always good to clear these fields. This time we're going to go to the Object tab, and again we're going to put Document in the search. Choose All Frames from the type. Under the Specify Attributes to Find, we're going to look for Stroke and the Pantone 8001C Gray and say OK, and we're going to change that to the Pantone 8863 swatch and select OK and select Change All. You should get a dialog box telling you that there are 7 changes. Again, delete what you're looking for and changing to, and now you can select Done. Deselect everything, and now in your separations, turn on your separations and look to see if there's anything that still has the 8001C in it. We have the logo, which we couldn't change, and so we'll have to deal with that another way later. We can also look at the 8863 color separation and see that we have added a few things to it. Turn off your separations and save your file.